Greetings. Let's get started. Jenny is going to keep letting folks in. Jenny Milton is my wing sister today. She is providing tech support. So say hi, Jenny.
Hi, everybody. Great to meet you.
I am so excited that you are all here today live for the Leader You Are masterclass on 5 changes that you can make tomorrow to get stuff done. First of all, you are going to get way more than 5 changes, but no spoilers. And second of all, look at all of the wonderful people who are on screen today who are joining us for this session. This is our community. You are all leaders, regardless of what title you have. You are people focused and you care deeply about your teams. That's why you're here today. So take a moment and I want you to take a snapshot of the gallery so that you can connect with these folks on LinkedIn after we log off today. Be sure to get all the pages because there are a bunch of us. We're going to be sharing an hour today of some amazing techniques, and everybody who's here knows what you're trying to do, knows what you're trying to accomplish, and will cheer you on as you try to implement all of these changes. So let's build a community of support so that we can encourage each other long after today is over. Jenny is also going to be taking some snapshots for us, so you might see one on social media later this week. Keystone and Raven proudly presents clarity plus focus plus breathing room equals progress. This is old wisdom repurposed for today's world. You're going to love how intuitive this is once you see it. Today's presentation is powered by Keystone and Raven. That's me. That's my company, where we help leaders at every level create thriving workplaces. It's also powered by the Table Framework, which is my framework for change management, building change management in a way that builds trust and community, overcomes resistance, and fosters lasting results. Managing change is not about armoring up for battle. It's about bringing everyone to the same table. Also, the Gallup Group, my #1 resource for employee engagement and company culture research worldwide. They are all about the employee experience, helping people be heard. I am so excited to share this information with you all today. These tactics have helped me and helped my clients create more impact with less overwhelm. I have not shared this information in this combination before, so you're getting an exclusive first look at all the things that make room for doing stuff that matters and doing less of the things that don't serve. Our goal is progress, not perfection. No one gets it right all the time, so relax and do what you can. I guarantee you that your 50% of effort is somebody else's 100%. So today, I ask you to hold your questions to the end. Helping me today, as I mentioned, is Jen Milton. She'll be watching the chat and flagging me as needed. So go ahead and drop your questions in the chat and we'll answer as many as we can in the Q&A section at the end. You will not need to take notes because I'm going to send them to you after this is over. So just write down the 3 or 5 tactics that you want to implement. That way you actually can make progress without trying to do all the things. This is where the magic happens. As I said, I've got your notes. Here's a little sneak peek at the bonus notes that you'll get with the recording of today's session. Just give me a couple of days to get the recording fine-tuned for your listening pleasure. I'm here today to drop some knowledge. If you know me or have been to any of my educational sessions, you know that I do not skimp on the details. I am proudly anachronistic, mixing old and new in ways that feel just right and work. My intention today is to help you recapture time, empower your teams, and make brain space so that you can do more of what matters the most and less of what does not serve you. My intention is to connect you with tactics that work. So if you like what I have to say, let's chat some more. I would be happy to review your calendar and your to-do list, and together we can help you start working on your big goals, at least get them started and start creating the space to have time to work on the things that you want to be working on. It's the number one complaint that I hear from my clients all the time. I would do the big thing if I had more time. Okay, great. Let me help you get that. And to that end, I am Catherine Robinette. I help leaders at all levels create thriving workplaces. I'm a catalyst and speaker for company culture, employee engagement, and change management. And all of that starts with finding the time to get stuff done. You can find me on LinkedIn and at keystoneandraven.com. Feel free to scan the QR code and connect with me on LinkedIn if we're not connected already. I'm also Catherine-Robinette-speaker on LinkedIn. I've collaborated with dozens of companies and organizations to help them create people-focused leadership, cultures, and initiatives. And I have worked with many Society for Marketing Professional Services chapters to share information and tactics that build strong company culture and navigate change. You may have heard me speak at events around the country and online webinars through a couple of podcasts. What you may not know is that I am an adoptive mom and now a grandma. Oh my gosh, that blows my mind. A cat mama of 4 and a game master for Dungeons and Dragons with an active campaign. And if you want the key to my heart, I like my coffee a little sweet. So without further ado, the leader you are, 5 changes you can make tomorrow to get stuff done. Pens ready, pens held high. Is this your current reality? Is this you sitting at your desk with sticky notes or a list of all the things to do, including a sticky note to remind you to look at the sticky notes? This is me, and I love this picture so much. How many of you are here for one or more of these reasons? Drop a number in the chat. What do you want most? Or what 2 things do you want most? Jen, what are we seeing in the chat?
Wow, there's a bit of a combination of everything. I'm seeing boy, Matt's a 4, Lindsay 5 and 6, Michelle 3 and 4, Craig, he's got 3, 2, 5 and 6, Kate's a 5, Michael's a 4 and a 5, Karen 1, 4 and 5. I'm seeing lots of 4s and 5s, definitely. Yeah, 1 and 5, 5 and 6. Oh,
That's
Michelle, she
super.
wants a 6 as well.
That's super. So yeah, all the things. You just want all the things. That's perfect. This is why you're stalling out. Other people's priorities are taking center stage. The day-to-day work is all consuming. You feel obligated to be in every room where it happens. Shout out to my Hamilton buddies. And everyone that you work with is sprinting, even though you're in a marathon. What's getting left behind? Purpose-driven action. You're in reaction mode instead of in progress mode. You need space to think guide, and grow. And right now, you don't have it. You're missing connections that build excitement and trust and energy for you and for everybody you work with. And you're missing the environment that your team needs to thrive. If this is your reality, you are not alone. So let's play a little game. This is called What's Your MO? And nope, that does not stand for modus operandi. That stands for momentum or operations. Where are you spending your time? Are you spending it on the things that help you make progress and momentum? Or are you spending it on the day-to-day operation things? Let's see. I should really have game show music here. That would be so awesome. So drop it in the chat. If you could pick three, which of these truly move the needle? Which of these help you make real progress? I'll give you time to read. Drop your letters in the chat. Which ones do you think make real progress? What are we seeing in the chat?
We are seeing CIJ from Stacy, EIJ from Craig, CEIJ. That seems to be a bit of a trend. Rachel, she's saying CEFIJ. Therese, CEJ. E from Lindsay. Skip, CIJ. Michael, CEF.
Okay,
Sheila, F.
great.
Mm.
That's fascinating. You guys, you're nailing it. You're nailing it. Yeah, you've all got the right idea. Things like brainstorming, preparing for strategic sessions, clarifying team roles and responsibilities, and team check-ins are momentum based. Team check-ins are especially momentum based if the employee is driving the conversation. We'll talk about that in future blogs. The others tend to be operations based, stuff that you have to do, but they can be time consuming and they're not strategic in nature. Following up with a client or customer could be either or. It depends on the topic. So, me being me, I did a little research. And the studies from the Harvard Business Review and Gallup reveal that managers spend only 10% of their time on strategy and innovation, while the remaining 90% is consumed by administrative tasks, problem solving, collaboration, and other usually short-term needs. What moves the needle are the things that happen in the 10%, in the strategy and innovation wedge. And yet, that's not where we're focused as managers and leaders. Some of the stuff in the 30%, the collaboration and problem solving, also counts as moving the needle, but not a lot. So, are you guys ready to move the needle? Thumbs up? Thumbs up. Okay, super. What I'm going to share is an overview. It's not a complete system, but you will still get tactics that you can use today. You ready? Let's start with something that is totally within your control, your to-do list. These are the beginning steps, low risk, high reward. The first method is called the three things method. Each evening, before you head home or turn off your computer for the day, answer for yourself which three things, which three tasks or priorities deserve my focus tomorrow. As a leader, not a doer, and then write them down. This is your new three things list, free of the to-do list trapped. Don't go crazy. These are not build a rocket ship. These are things like call Bob about the thing, right? Small, crucial next steps that will progress the hard thing forward. The second step is to communicate your three things the next morning to your team. Tell them what your priorities are for the day. Encourage them to do the same, to make their own three-thing list. You might be surprised how quickly the fog clears when everyone is working from a curated list. And you will be blown away at how amazingly focused you are. Now, it takes practice and some retraining to stick to the three things list, and emergencies will arise. And you know what? I should probably write a blog on what constitutes an emergency in just a moment while I write that down, because that was a good idea. Okay. See, brain at work. Informing your team about the three things changes the chemistry and starts reprogramming how everybody feels about their to-do lists. For example, they need to know that you're changing your priorities and your process, how you're doing business. They can help hold you accountable, and you can help hold them accountable. Together, you will normalize a culture of clarity and focus and breathing room for the things that matter versus reacting to the things that are on fire and in front of you. Proactive progress versus reactive action. And the last thing, do the things. Do the three things in the day. Lather, rinse, repeat. You want to level up moving the needle beyond just the three things? Thumbs up? All right, next level. These start pushing the envelope a little. The first is to build in buffer time. This is 10 to 15 minutes after meetings where you can shift your focus, go to the bathroom, and be present for what's next. Post-meeting buffer time is for sending out the action items or writing notes to yourself so that you remember what you promised that you would do as a result of the meeting, so you don't lose the thread of what comes next. The next one, only check your email twice a day. Twice a day. I usually check mine mid-morning and sometime after lunch, usually around 2. I save my morning time for my best work, so you're going to want to tune this to what your natural rhythm is. Since you will be only checking email twice a day, you can go ahead and turn off the email notifications, right? So you don't get the preview pop up and you don't get the little envelope in your taskbar and you don't have the little number show up on your phone. You don't want any indication that something is there that your brain gets distracted by and wants to respond to. Those things are addictive. If you want to get really feisty, turn off your direct messages and instant messages also. Shocking. Now you're in control of your day and your time. The last piece is schedule office hours each week. This is so that you can be interrupted on purpose. So you would mark them as free in your calendar so that people can schedule meetings with you, but you can also just have, this is when it's okay to drop by and ask me questions or interrupt my work or whatever. This is a good time to be checking your emails. So if nobody shows up, you can be checking emails. If people want to show up and ask you questions, they're just interrupting smaller tasks anyway. It's okay if this changes every week. In fact, it is likely to change every week. As long as you have it in your calendar so that other people can find it and see it and use it, super. You want more? Next level is mastery level, not for the faint of heart. Look away if you've got a weak stomach. Okay, here we go. This is the process, pause, and pivot method. Process. You want to practice communicating your outcomes. What are the tangible results or outcomes of the projects that you and your team are working on? If everyone is envisioning the same results, it is so much easier to take actions that will achieve those results. Miscommunications and mishaps happen because of a lack of clarity about the outcomes. The clearer you can be in describing the desired outcomes, the easier it will be for your team to step up and take on aspects of reaching those outcomes. Now you can spend your time brainstorming with them or removing obstacles so that they can take ownership and run with the project because they're not just parroting back what you said, they actually get it. This is so empowering for them and so freeing for you. The pause. Now that you've started building in buffer time into your week and scheduling the free calendar time for office hours, take it one step further and block immovable deep work time. This is 1 to 2 hours a week for strategy and innovation. That already gets you more than 10% in your week. This is where you get to play, daydream, doodle, journal, nap, meditate, scribble your way to your breakthroughs. Take a shower, take a run. Use the time to get in the brain space where you turn off your conscious churning and let your mind breathe. Folks, I'm telling you, the most amazing things happen in the pause. How many brilliant ideas have you discovered in the shower? Well, what if you could actually schedule that to happen every week? And the last piece, pivot. This is the biggie. Decline 2 meetings this week and next week and the week after. If you're attending meetings just to stay in the loop, keep people happy, or avoid an awkward conversation, that says more about your company culture than it does about your leadership priorities. Changing that dynamic starts with changing your mindset about what meetings are for and what your purpose is for being there. I have a list of questions that you should be asking yourself before you say yes to another meeting. And for being here live today, you can get that list. See, pays to show up live. Jen, can you drop the PDF of in the chat for folks who are here today? That's called Meetings That Matter. The only way you're going to get it is by grabbing it from the chat. Also included in this worksheet are some phrases that you can use to decline with tact, since this may be a new thing for you, and it's definitely going to be a new thing for people when you start declining meetings. You can be diplomatic and hold your boundaries. I promise. And I can hear some of you now. I can see the gears turning. You're thinking, I will never be allowed to do that. Or my department doesn't have enough clout to say no, or to turn down meetings, or whatever barrier it is that you're thinking. And I'm telling you, you're focused on the wrong part of the equation. It's not about what they will allow. The challenge is not to get permission. The challenge is to consistently do the right, hard thing. You know where you need to focus your time. So do that. As a leader, your time is the most important resource that you have. But if you don't understand what drives your spending habits, you can't change where and how you spend your time. I'm going to share 3 common barriers that keep us from embarking on our strategic work and how you can choose adventure. That is, what the leader move is that you can make to get around the barrier, why it works, and what you get by choosing that path. Just to point out how relevant all of this is, I want to share. I was skimming through LinkedIn this morning, and Adam Grant had this post up this morning. If you don't know who Adam Grant is, he's an organizational psychologist. He studies how organizations work, the people dynamics, and how to make all of that work better. He also teaches all of this at Wharton University, and he's written several books on how our brains work at work. I follow his stuff naturally, I eat it up. That's the link to his podcast where he talks about saying no and setting boundaries. This is what he says in the post. Setting boundaries is not a display of disrespect. It's an expression of self-respect. Declining a request is not a decision to let others down. It's a commitment to stand up for yourself. Saying no is not an admission of selfishness. It is an act of self-preservation. This is how relevant setting your boundaries are. Okay, let's talk about those barriers. The first is the clarity barrier. We do what others think is important, but they don't know what's on your list. They don't know what your big goals are. You do. The leadership move, focus on your three things. You know that you need to set your intention the night before. If you start every day with a list of just three manageable, doable things to get done, you will get them done. And you'll start to see traction on those important projects because you're putting in the time and effort consistently, day after day. Why does this work? The brain is wired for cognitive efficiency. It builds routines around perceived importance. When you name what you're prioritizing, even if unconsciously, you bring those choices into conscious awareness. That activates your executive function, the part of your brain that's responsible for decision making, and makes it easier to course correct in real time. So you end up saying no to things that are out of alignment with what you've told your brain is your new priority. The brain is now programmed to help you achieve your priorities and will feel extremely uncomfortable if you're being pulled in a different direction. What do you get when you focus on your three things? Well, you get the important stuff done. You also get in the habit of doing the important things first. And you're programming your brain to grab whatever it needs for those important things. So even if you're not actively working on that important thing right now, your brain is saying, oh, yeah, and I need to remember to call so and so. Oh, yeah, I'm going to need to whatever. It starts building the to-do list. Barrier number two, the focus barrier. We take on others' urgency as our own and we act on it. If it's due tomorrow or someone is waiting on you to get it done, it gets done. If it's not urgent, it gets bumped. How many of you have back burner items? It gets bumped again and again. Urgency becomes the criteria for doing the thing, not importance. And at the end of the day, you're thinking, wow, I am exhausted. And what did I actually do? Did you do all the things? Or did you do the ones that truly mattered? The leadership move is to stop letting urgency dictate your focus. This begins by blocking time on your calendar to work on your three things and to shift your focus from what is on fire to what matters. Your leadership strength is in shaping the big picture and tackling big tasks, not checking off a never-ending to-do list. Why does this work? When something feels urgent, it triggers your brain's threat detection response, right? Fight or flight. It prompts a burst of cortisol and narrows your focus, which is really helpful in a crisis. But it starts creating a pattern where you only take action when the pressure is high. Long-term leadership work, long-term strategic work lacks urgency. So you have to create a structure to overcome that. You have to give it equal psychological weight. By blocking time on your calendar, you're signaling to your brain this thing that is not urgent is also important, and you will get the deep work done. Your signal to everyone looking at your calendar is also this thing is important. And you start empowering your team to take ownership of their time and applying it to the things that are important. What do you get by blocking time on your calendar? You get the important stuff done. You also start setting roles and boundaries and work environment and culture. You're creating all of this by demonstrating this is how it should look, this is how it should work. And you begin to empower your team to do the same. The last barrier, the breathing room barrier. We tend to normalize busyness instead of making space for deep work. In fact, when you say, what did you do today? It kind of becomes a one-upmanship of who did more of all the things than somebody else. Instead of making space for the deep work, somewhere along the way, we stopped listening to our intuition and we took on the frenzy of doing. And it's taking a toll on everything, on our mental acuity, our stamina, our energy. It's, dare I say, sucking the joy out of work because our environments are accustomed to pushing through and responding to the distractions rather than planning our actions around what we know is important. The leadership move, match your workflow to the work. Schedule deep strategic thinking for when you are at your best. Don't try to power through vision work when you're in between back-to-back meetings. Buffer in time and breaks to give your brain moments to breathe. And start noticing your best mental windows. If you don't already know now when you're at your peak, start paying attention. Use that time for the hard stuff. Why does this work? Your brain isn't equally capable all day long. Energy, focus, and motivation are regulated by neurochemicals like dopamine and serotonin. Do these sound familiar? I'm sure you've heard them before. And when those are depleted, so is your capacity to do deep work. By matching your most complex work with when you are at your best, you're working with your brain biology, not against it. It's called chronobiology. Time matters for when you're doing your stuff. Also, if you're hungry, go ahead and eat. Ignore what the clock says. And when you're thirsty, drink more water, less caffeine. Go outside. Even 5 minutes outside is shown to boost mood, lower your blood pressure, reset your brain and your body, um, and reconnect you with your breathing, right? We tend to hold our breath when we're doing really frenzied work. These are all great things to fuel your brain and get that influx of stamina and energy boost that you need to keep going. Your leadership muscles are flexing all the time, but you also have to take breaks between those sets, right? What do you get out of creating breathing room? You already know, you get the important stuff done, and you get more energy and capacity for what matters. I have one more concept to share with you, and it's a cool concept. But before I hop to that, I want to encourage you to connect with me on LinkedIn if we're not already connected, and take a moment to tell me what you need. If there's a worksheet or a tool that I could provide, let me know. I'm creating content all the time, so please let me know how I can help you. And if you DM me in LinkedIn the word time, I will send you the 10 time management tactics to reclaim your day and your sanity. It has even more ways to get the brain space that you need to do your best work. Jan's going to drop my LinkedIn profile in the chat where you can scan the QR code to find me on LinkedIn. And again, I am Catherine-Robinette-Speaker on LinkedIn. Remember to DM time to me at LinkedIn so that I can send you the time management worksheet. Okay, I have one more tactic for you, and it's a doozy. You ready? It's called the plates framework. And yes, it's a sub-framework of my table framework for change management. But this one is for fueling up your team by empowering them. It's a delegation technique, and it works equally well for tasks as well as meetings. Let's walk through it. P is for priority and purpose. Why are we doing this and why now? If it's a meeting or a task that doesn't serve a clear purpose or a priority, it's worth questioning. Maybe it can be delayed. Maybe it can be cut. Not everything deserves a spot at the table just because it's always been there. L, level. What level of skill or responsibility or authority does this task or meeting require? Don't default to doing it yourself, and don't delegate down if the meeting or task actually needs your leadership. You want to match the work to the right level. Alignment for A. Who is best positioned to do this work well or to grow by it? You're looking for skill and interest and capacity and development opportunity. Delegation isn't dumping, it's designing. T, time and tools. Does this person have the resources to succeed? Because support matters. Make sure that they have enough time, that they have the context and background, the authority, and the clarity to deliver confidently. And resources. If they need access to information or to software, get it for them. E, expectations. What does success look like? Spell it out. Define the deliverable, the tangible outcomes, the timeline, the communication flow. Clear doesn't mean controlling. It means that everyone knows what winning looks like from process to product. And S is for sweep. What no longer belongs on anyone's plate? Some meetings and tasks are outdated, duplicated, or simply no longer effective. Don't reassign them, retire them. Clearing the table gives your team more room to do what's important. All of this is to say a clear target turns action into impact. If you can get clarity about what you're trying to do, you can focus your energy behind it and create the breathing room to make it happen. All of these tactics are chef's kiss. In Dungeons and Dragons, we call them world-breaking stuff because they're so good, they're so overpowered that they flatten anything that resists them. If you implement these tactics tomorrow, you will start moving the needle. And if you want to go deeper and get specific tactics for your situation, please sign up at the QR code or through the link provided. This is a free 30-minute conversation with me, available only to the people who have registered for this class. I believe in these tactics so much, I use them personally and I recommend them to my clients, and I have seen how it completely changes their attitude about work. When we meet, I will help you reclaim your time so that you have the space to achieve your big goals and make work feel like less work. The link is active from now until the end of May, but I only have slots in May for this, so please take me up on my offer. Jen's going to drop the link in the chat so you can grab it from there as well, or you can scan the QR code. Let me help you get the brain space that you need and the energy so that you can be the leader you truly are. Remember, clarity plus focus plus breathing room will get you the progress that you're looking for. You can absolutely do this. You've got this. Let's open it up for questions. Jen, what have we got in the chat? Where can I help you find clarity, create focus, or build breathing room?
We've got some great positive comments, lots of aha moments, lots of heads blown. by some of the strategies that you've shared with us today. If anybody's got a question, please type it in the chat right now.
Or unmute yourself. This is Cash. Crystal
Well,
clear, right? I said it was intuitive.
yeah, and this isn't a question, but I the whole check your email twice a day tactic. It's bold, but I really appreciate it because I've found that some people treat email like it's instant messaging or texting. And so that check it twice a day really sort of just forces you to out of that pattern, which is like it feels like no duh, but also like, oh wow, that's scary and powerful.
Right? And we've all worked with the person who sends the email and then calls you 2 seconds later saying, "Did you get my email?" It's like, dude, you are not my to-do list. I will get to you when I get to you.
So, Catherine, for those of us who sometimes have the tendency to do things like procrastinate, what tips do you have for keeping focused when you work better when you're under pressure sometimes?
Yeah, well, so one of the beautiful things about the three things tip is that you're telling other people these are your three things. So they will start putting some pressure on you. Even if it's innocently, right? At lunch, they'll say, "How are your three things coming?" Now you're giving the procrastinator some accountability, right? They're poking at you a little bit innocently, but doing it nonetheless. You can also create accountability buddies. So, which is why at the beginning I said take a snapshot of the folks that are in the gallery. There are other people here who are trying to do what you're trying to do. Why don't you have a coffee chat once a week and say, how are you coming with your three things for this week or today or this month? Right? Because you can layer that to be as complex as you want it to be. Don't do that right off. Start with one day. But yeah, and you can find somebody in your organization that you can buddy up with to hold each other accountable to your three things. Time pressure is a trap. It's not real because stuff will take as much or as little time as you want to give it. So, so you could create time games with your own brain and set a timer and say, I'm going to work on this for 15 minutes and then I'm going to stop. And that's another way to get around procrastination because anybody can do something for 15 minutes, zero in and do it for 15 minutes and then flit away and go do something else.
Catherine, I also don't have a question, although there's probably something deep in, the brain, but this has been super helpful and interesting. And some things were like, oh wow, that's a great idea. And Matt, I'm with you. I'm still wrestling with this twice a day. I've got some thoughts on that. Uh, Other things weren't like surprising and yet so helpful to have you articulate them and for me to be reminded, you know what I mean? So I feel like this was a really nice mix, Catherine, of like oh, okay, that's interesting. Let me think about that. Or yeah, I'm in. And then all the stuff that like I may know, be familiar with, but I've either forgotten or I needed you to be like, hammer it back into my head. So thank you for all of this. It's very helpful.
Yeah, you are so welcome. Yeah, and a lot of it is, as I said, this is intuitive. A lot of this is stuff that you know. You just forget how powerful it is. These are a trap, right? You can't even see it because of anyway, our cell phones are a trap. They make us think that stuff we have to respond to right now, and we don't. You don't. Nobody's going to be mad. I promise you. Nobody will be mad.
Or if they are, they may not be your people. Or, I mean, it gets one to think about how one should think about those interactions and those individuals, perhaps.
Yeah, what is that saying about my company culture if people get mad that I don't respond to their email within 2 seconds of them sending it? I can do other stuff. I will get there.
Catherine, in the WOTEC meeting that you were in a few weeks ago, you recommended the book Let Them. And I actually, the very next day, ordered it and have been and listened to it on Audible. And it encouraged me to just turn off all my notifications on my phone so I don't get pop ups. Like, I've been trying to cut down on my spending. I don't get Amazon pop ups. So it's helped me with everything. Um, yeah, you don't know how much those notifications on your phone or anything control you until you stop letting them.
Yeah, it's marketing. It's all marketing.
Yeah, and to go one step further, even turning off notifications, I also turned off the read receipts so people can't see if I've seen their message. Could that also add to that urgency or false sense of urgency?
Yeah, it adds to the Pavlovian effect too. Like, did they read it? Did they read it? It's like, oh, geez. Yes, I did. I'll get back to you.
I want to chime in. I haven't read the Let Them book. I will absolutely look at that. But one I have read is How to Do Nothing, um, which is a kind of a treatise on the attention economy, but sort of reclaiming balance in your life between virtual world and work and being a human being environment. Recommend.
Patrick, if you've got the author and the name of the book, can you just drop that in the chat? I wrote it down for me, but I can't be the only one who's going, ooh, give me more. Send me more.
Yeah, the thought of that like is almost terrifying because I feel like we live in a culture where we just have to be on all the time. It's we want to be needed. We want to feel wanted and chosen. And so like you feel more important by being responsive. And so like it's this vicious cycle and you get stuck in that busyness and you think you're adding value. But then if you take a step back you feel empty and you realize, wow, I'm really not adding value. I feel like I'm just contributing to the lack of focus and it's actually not. And this is so incredibly timely, Catherine, because I have legitimately been wrestling with that this week. And just, everyone seems to like have their thing and it's like you're stuck in this mode of just go, 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 and you're in this vicious cycle of survival mode and you're like, well, what really sets me apart? How am I showing up and giving value? And then, it's yeah, like, and you just get work where it's just busy and you're just like, wow, I'm not adding value here at all. And I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. And so you kind of get in this burnout phase and then you don't want to focus at all and you don't really feel motivated to show up. And you really do, like you said, you have to start small. Like I've been forcing myself, okay, I don't feel like doing this thing. I feel burnt out, but I'm going to show up for 15 minutes and just do it. Just focus in on it and just do something. But yeah, this was so timely. I really appreciate all the reminders and just even the new things like only check your email twice a day, which is gonna be really hard.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It feels like I don't know, like you're betraying the nature of email. It's like, yeah, exactly. That's be an
Yeah.
interrupter. I talk about being a goalie, right? Your job as a leader is to kick everybody back into play. So, so when they're stuck, when the ball gets stuck in the corner of the goalpost, in the net or whatever, your job is to go grab it and kick it back out into play. Well, you have to do that for yourself too. And the other piece that's interesting is many of you are new leaders coming from within the ranks. You are accustomed to doing all the things and being super responsive and doing what other people tell you to do. You are not accustomed to telling yourself what to do. This is a new muscle that you have to flex. It's a new brain skill. So cut yourself some slack and treat yourself like the leader you are. It's okay to prioritize your things. That's what it means for you now.
To kind of build off what Rachel was saying, I definitely started small when I started with my current firm. I set a new rule for myself that evenings and weekends, I'm not checking email. Notifications are off on my phone. And I mean, no fire is going to, hopefully no fire is going to happen at 9:30 on a Saturday night or 9 p.m. on a weeknight. Maybe if you're on a deadline, be available. But I've seen just the amount, the change of me like going home and the weight of work being off my shoulders, and I can actually decompress and like focus on my relationship and my hobbies and what I want to do at home without like getting that ping on my phone. And even if I don't respond, looking over and glancing it is like a complete U-turn in your brain. You go from being relaxed and you instantly go back into work mode. And it, yes, exactly. And it causes, I was realizing that it caused me to not like enjoy my free time. We're all entitled to weekends. We're entitled to PTO. I just took 2 weeks of PTO, and I'm so proud that I did not check my email. I did not respond to a single email. I was kind of forgot about work, which was awesome. I think that I definitely
Oh
still
my
have work.
God, what is that like?
I know. I think that I definitely still have work to do, with my typical 9 to 5, and doing the squirrel, jumping from this spire to this spire, and responding to everything as soon as it pops up. But just again, baby steps, like how I apply that just to after hours and weekends, the time that we're all entitled to enjoy, just enjoying it is like it makes you come back refreshed and ready to take on the typical 9 to 5 chaos.
I mean, who says your three things, your priorities for today? Why can't one of them be, you know, do something fun for me?
Exactly.
It
What does it
doesn't it
even
doesn't
mean?
all have to
What
be.
is fun?
Say that again, Rachel.
What does it even mean? What is fun? Like
Yeah, what is fun?
I feel like it just like takes on a whole new meaning when you're also your own, like you run your own company, and it's like, okay, so how do you set those boundaries? How do you lead yourself? How do you show up? Like it's a whole different, it's not less hard or less, whatever, but it's just, yeah, it's just a whole new level of
You've got a
management.
really mean boss. I can tell. I
I
can tell.
know, she's so mean. She's such a bitch. Like it just come
Are there
slap
any other
her.
questions for the group? Anything else that I can re-steer, refocus, play goalie and kick you back into play? Those were great. Thank you so much. Please remember to sign up for a one-on-one with me if you'd like to have some specific, we can talk about your world, not in front of a group, and I can help you reclaim your time in your week. I truly believe that reaching any of your big goals starts with making the time to work on them. So please take me up on that this week. And with that, thank you, everyone. We're going to stop the recording. We'll send out the link with the recording and the notes in a couple of days. And for now, go make magic happen.
Thank you, Catherine. This is great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.